Agonius here, but we'll introduce him in a moment. In the meantime, I just want to talk about how I can't stop sneezing today, so I'll try my best to contain it during the show. Yeah, and if my voice sounds a bit funky, I was at a large Twitch meetup last night doing a lot of talking, a lot of yelling, very loud. So I'm not sick, I swear. It's just allergies and lots of yelling last night. So this is what you're getting today. This is my talk show voice. How are you doing today, Agonius?
I'm doing pretty good. I didn't go into anything last night. I just sat home and did nothing. But sounds like you had a pretty fun time.
It was great. Actually, I won a ring light, which I'm really excited about, especially with current life circumstances going on right now. I really needed that, so I haven't set it up yet. I'm not using it right now, so the lighting isn't great yet. But I am excited to have a actual massive ring light. Hey, Totem, I see you there in chat. Malka talk. I never talk. Talking is not something I do ever. So on that note, we are starting a couple minutes late today. I apologize. But yeah, Sunday, episode 2 of On the Point. And I'm excited for today's hero that we're talking about. This is going to be different than last episode because last episode was more of an introduction to the series. This episode, we have a very strict format. We have a hero we're going to be focusing on and only that hero, except for when we're talking about other heroes that he might do well against or poor against. But I'm excited for today's hero. So on that note, let me get the intro video started and then we can dive right in.
I get it.
You get it. All right. Hey, for guys, any cuties? Are you a cutie?
If so, I'm an yeah cutie for sure.
You're a cutie. All right. We have multiple cuties. All right. On that note, let's play that intro video. All right, so we're back for episode 2 of On the Point, and today we're going to discuss my favorite angry monkey, Winston.
I think you're cosplaying the wrong hero. I thought it was a gorilla.
Oh, is he a gorilla?
The gorilla, I think. I mean, a horse is close enough.
Basically the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, Agonius, let's go into who the heck are you? Who is Agonius?
I am a content creator, air quotes, on YouTube, and I do guides for various heroes in Overwatch at a high level play. That's pretty much it.
That's it? That's all you do? You play Overwatch very well?
I just play a lot of Overwatch. What can I say?
So I know that you have a YouTube series or some YouTube videos that you do. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so over the past few months, I've started doing hero guides where, in a simple but concise manner, I talk about what each hero does, how to play them, a few mechanical tricks to improve on that hero, and I occasionally also talk about the state of the game. You can find that. You can find that over at youtube.com/Agonius if you're interested.
So I had to put the horse mask on. People were disappointed last night that I wasn't going to put it on. Last week. So on that note, let me get Agonius your link up on the screen. There we go.
Whoa. Technology.
I love how easy BeLive is to use. And for those that aren't aware, I mean, obviously we're streaming on the BeLive Twitch channel. We're also using BeLive's website platform to do this talk show. And they're wonderful. It's so easy to use if you're a streamer or even a Facebook user, but they're really trying to break into the Twitch market as well. Definitely look into BeLive. It is a wonderful platform to do talk shows from. It's so easy to set up. Everything's ready to go. At a click of a button, you can do so many things. All right, so let me grab my notes here. And then, yes, everyone, make sure you follow Agonius on Twitter, on YouTube. Links on the screen. Give him some love. He absolutely deserves it. And then on that note, before we dive in too much further, I would like to mention, for those that aren't aware, those who weren't here last week, we are doing a Lube Box Giveaway. So let's put information on that. So simply be active in chat during the stream. I'll be paying attention. I'll be seeing your comments. And if I like some of them, or if you have questions, I might even put them up on screen so people can see them or highlight them. But simply just be here, be active in chat, and yeah, you might win some Overwatch loot boxes. So on that note, let's talk about Winston. I will be honest, Winston is not a character that I play much personally. Obviously, I know who he is. If I am playing Mystery Heroes and I have to hop on him, I will do him well enough to get by. But I'm definitely not Agonius level Winston. So Winston, he is a tank hero. And let's dive into some of his stats and abilities, Agonius.
Well, he's got 400 health and 100 armor, so he's not the most tanky out of all the tanks. But with his kit, he can actually keep himself alive pretty well if you know how to dance around his bubble and jump around. So he's got a Tesla cannon, which is basically a lightning gun that shoots an arc. It does only a little bit of damage, but the trade-off is that you can hit multiple targets. It actually has a pretty good damage potential of 300, assuming they're not getting healed or anything. You can jump around the map pretty easily. You can put down a little bubble shield with a couple hundred health and keep yourself alive with Primal Rage.
Now, one of my favorite things about Winston is with his Tesla cannon, you really don't have to aim. You press the button, and if you're standing near Winston when he presses the button, you're going to get hit by his lasers. So not having to aim is great. I feel like he's one of the easier tank heroes to start with, really. He's pretty, so he jumps around, he's very quick, he can get out of situations, get into situations, he can dive onto the point. I think he's a pretty fun character to play, pretty easy to get into. So when would a player pick Winston? When is a good time to say, you know what, I need to be Winston right now?
Usually want to pick Winston against when you're fighting against a team that's highly mobile, or if there's a lot of high ground. For example, Watch Point and Gibraltar Point 1, usually the defending team will be holding up on like the high ground up there. So if you're playing Winston, you can jump up there and be able to help out your team pretty quickly.
Okay. We got some Winston players in chat. That's excellent. Winston, main, no aim. So some heroes and the strengths and weaknesses of Winston. So when is he good? When is he bad? Viability in certain situations. Let's just discuss that part of him.
Well, if you're against a Roadhog, a Reaper, and to an extent a Zenyatta, you're going to have a bad time. You're going to jump in, that Reaper's going to pop up, and he's going to pretty much insta-kill you. So you don't want to play him against comps that really group up together really well and that have a lot of armor. But when you should pick him is usually you have a team composition that is very mobile, like, have a D.Va as your off tank, have a Genji, Tracer, that kind of thing. And usually people refer to that as dive comp, and it's where Winston shines the most.
Yes, all my dive puns in my tweets, that just everything I've made about this week's episode, diving in with Winston. So as Totem just said, you still have to aim your jump. That is so true, Totem. And I'll be honest, I'm bad at aiming Winston's jump. I'm sure Agonius is a master at it, being a Grandmaster Winston player, but I myself, I just kind of press it and I hope for the best.
Well, an interesting thing about his jump interaction that many people don't actually know is if you hold like backwards when you go to jump, you'll actually do like a tiny jump and you can control it better. So that's maybe useful for just, leaping into a target that's not really that far away.
That's a really cool tip. So you press as if like the backwards button, you do a shorter jump. That's really helpful. Yeah, because the jump, the way I feel, it's just very, it goes really far. It's so useful. It's a great jump. But if you're not experienced with Winston, like you just willy-nilly just jumping in a direction and not exactly always landing where you want to land. And of course, with Winston, when you land on someone, it damages them, right? So you want to make sure you are aiming onto heroes. So even with that shorter jump, if you land on someone, it still will do the same damage to them.
And knock them back a bit as well.
And knock them back a bit, yeah. Okay, that is handy information to know. I'm learning something new today. I hope you guys are as well. Let's see here. So in the competitive scene, Winston, like how does he fit in the current meta?
Like I was mentioning earlier, usually people will play Winston on high ground maps using dive comp. Right now, one of the most dominant team compositions is goats, and he does not do well against goats at all. But in pretty much any other like team composition, he can do well against it, even if it's like Ryan Zarya. If you know how to use him, you can pretty much abuse him at any rank.
And that's really handy. So that's definitely why I wanted to start with Winston, because he's such a versatile character for both new and experienced players as well. And for those that aren't aware of what this is, can you just do a little explanation of what GOATS is for viewers?
So GOATS is essentially this team composition where you run 3 tanks and 3 supports, where you'll usually have a Lucio in it. And what the Lucio does is he speed boosts the tanks in with all those healers, and you pretty much just throw yourselves at the enemies. And with the amount of damage and health you have, they can't really do anything against it.
And
Oh, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, like, what's the origin of the name GOATS for that?
Well, in Contenders, they're one of the teams who basically invented it. It's pretty much named after them when they first brought that team composition.
All right, excellent. I love the name. Yeah, I've seen that used quite a bit. It is very helpful for sure.
Another thing that people have been saying a lot is that you could also say GOAT stands for Go All Tanks and Supports, except there's no T in it, but it's a good way to remember what it stands for.
I guess it go all yeah. You kind of mix the letters around a little bit, but that makes sense. All tanks and supports, GOATs. Basically the same thing. Close enough. That's what I always say. Close enough. Cat's purr can have healing properties. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. Let's see here. That's screen worthy. I'm putting that up here. All right, sorry. So now that we've discussed a bit of that, let's go into some team compositions. So I know you mentioned a few characters that he's good against, but what characters does he work well with? What are some good competitions to have with Winston?
D.Va is probably the best to work with Winston because, let's say, in a team fight, the first thing you do as Winston is you jump on their Zenyatta trying to take him out so that your team has an advantage. What D.Va can do is she can fly in there with you at pretty much the same speed and use her defense matrix to keep the Winston safe and provide that extra damage needed to kill the support. But other heroes that work pretty well with him is pretty much anything that can keep up with him when he jumps. For supports, like you could even run Ana because she has that range, but Mercy's pretty viable as well because you fly with him. Yeah. And yeah.
I guess Lucio to some extent because he can go a bit quicker.
The problem with running Lucio is that it takes a while to wall ride. So if the Winston takes a lot of damage immediately, he can get dropped before the Lucio can even get there. That's the only problem with that. But otherwise, the speed boost is pretty useful.
Yeah, but yeah, to see when you're doing GOATs. All right. Let's see here. Oh, something I wanted to mention as well is, are there any heroes that are very similar to Winston that can be quite comparable, like similar play style or anything like that? Like, let's say you keep Winston for whatever reason, other characters are similar.
I would say Wrecking Ball pretty much fills the same niche as Winston does. Maybe a bit less effective, but you can grapple and basically dive on supports, do your ground pound, and maybe try and finish them off before they can get away. That's more or less what Winston does. You go in, put your shield up, do a bunch of damage, and then you try and get out.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like Hammond. And he's definitely a fun character to play against. A good Hammond player is annoying as heck. And but we'll definitely have a good episode on Hammond when the time comes. But he's frustrating. But I mean, Winston can be super frustrating as well. A good Winston player, like playing against you when you're playing Winston, I'm sure isn't a fun experience for the person playing against you because you just shut people down. You can really shut down, especially with lower health heroes. That's a perfect time to come in with Winston and just finish off, get that team kill in, especially if they're grouped up. Oh,
and then it's fun until they run a Brigitte, and then she just shuts you down so hard. And then every time you see Shield Bash, just a part of you dies inside.
Yes. Well, hopefully, well, not hopefully, because I love playing Brigitte and I love the shield bash, and I know they're nerfing it and it's not going to be as powerful, not doing as much damage. But yeah, that shield bash, it sucks for playing against her. That's for sure. Great when you're playing her though; it's top notch. Now that you mentioned that, actually, what are some other heroes that really can shut Winston down? You mentioned Brigitte's shield bash. What other specific characters or abilities are just really like ugh?
I mentioned Reaper Roadhog before, but let me explain a bit more about the Zenyatta. Zenyatta alone is not a very big threat to Winston, but his Discord Orb, which makes Winston take more damage, it can be pretty lethal because you only have like 500 health, and you can get burned pretty quickly if he gets a good Discord on you. But one of the heroes that actually shuts him down even harder is Sombra. She hacks you. You're pretty much dead. You can't do anything. You can't use your shield. You can't jump out. You can't pop your ultimate. You're just an ult battery, basically.
Yeah, well, Summer is good counter for most heroes. She just shuts you down completely and you're stuck. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. When I play against Winston, what character do I play that seems to be really good? I don't really play any of the characters that you mentioned that are good against him. Winston, for me, is always a frustrating character. I play Junkrat and I just charge into the shield and like put mines in and blow Winston out and then use my second mine to further damage him. And usually that works pretty well. It definitely isn't the traditional Winston counter. I just play Junkrat a lot, so I adapt and I figure out ways to get people out of their shields. Yeah, so I can't think of anything else on that point unless you can.
A good thing actually for Junkrat against Winston is let's say he jumps on you. You could use your mine to back up, and then if you put a trap between you and the Winston, he's gonna either have to. There's three things that Winston can do in his little monkey brain, right? He's gonna either kill the trap, he's going to run around it, or he's just gonna back off. And all three of those situations give you a pretty big advantage.
Yeah, I love using Junkrat's trap. It's fun putting the trap in the same spot every time and people keep still running into it. It's the best feeling. But I'll get into that more in the Junkrat episode. I love Junkrat. He's so helpful. Let's see here. And so we already kind of touched on who Winston is strong against, weak against. Or any other tidbits you want to add to that pointer?
I mean, not really. I mean, he gets punched by Doomfist at pretty much like every other hero, so I don't think there's anything really to add there.
Doomfist is frustrating to play against. A good Doomfist player. And I was so excited to see Doomfist being used in the Overwatch World Cup while I was at BlizzCon. Doomfist is, he's powerful when played correctly. Let's see here. Oh, we have let's see here. Oh, this question was whispered to me. Oh, 1 second. Sorry for guys. So here we have actually a question regarding Winston. So let me put on screen here. So what if I destroy the trap, run it around it, and back off? Is what Fergus is asking.
I mean, then you probably wouldn't kill the Junkrat. He would just kind of look at you confused for a second. But if you're saying that once you destroy the trap, kill the Junkrat or run around it and then kill the Junkrat and back off, that would actually be okay. Like if you corner him in a wall or something.
Yeah, I mean, as Junkrat, I've made like Winston's have run away from me when I do my mine, my trap, my mine. They're just like, screw this, I'm out. I can't do this. And I'm not confused by it. I know why they're running away because I'm a badass, obviously. But yeah, that if you want to live, if you don't want to die in Winston, or that Junkrat's doing that to you, then just you can aim to get out of there and try to wreck someone else. That's an option for sure. And then, sorry, I can't not pronounce your name. Hi, Hidekimanero. Nero. Yeah, you need to use with high ground really well against Reaper. Yeah, especially if he goes into his Death Blossom and you're on the same level as him, things are just not going to be fun for you at that point.
Well, especially with Winston, right? When you're playing against Roadhog and Reaper with their shotguns, they can just melt you instantly. So it kind of changes you have to adapt and change your play style. So when they have them, they're going to stay with their team. So you can't really dive in. You kind of have to walk up to them and try and, put your shield down, get a little poke damage, try and take out one of their supports. And then if they start jumping on you, you use your leap to escape. So it's a bit of a reverse gameplay style there, but
Yeah,
It's
usually for tanks, you want to be like on the main ground, you're helping with your team, you're stacked up with them. But Winston is very much like, yes, he's a tank, but he's also can be upper ground, jumping around. So that's why usually when Winston is the tank chosen, you have a second tank in your team to be the tank that's down there with the team, shielding them, helping them out. Because Winston is always just he's floating around. Like a good Winston is. I've seen Winston's like follow the payload and just kind of walk along with it, and that's not a very effective Winston. So yeah, you definitely need a second tank if you have a Winston in the group for sure. In my opinion, anyways. I don't know what's your opinion on that, Agonius? I'm sure you'll agree, but
I would say like for Winston, your gameplay style when there isn't one of those counters is just play as aggressive as possible. Like let's say you capture the first point, you immediately want to go to maybe like the straggling healers that are trying to back up to the next point or something like that. Because if you get one of those kills before their team can regroup, your team is going to probably win the next fight and push even more.
That is true. And then Nito is talking about Reaper again. Tough to deal with, but honestly isn't a big problem if you have good positioning. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, Reaper, he can be shut down pretty quickly if you're smart about it. But if you're not paying attention and he sneaks up behind you, you're going to be in trouble. Now, the fun part that we get to talk about, Agonius, and I know we can talk about this part for ages, so let's try to keep concise, but just general Winston tips and tricks. So I know you have a lot of insight on this. Prior to the show, we were I think we put an hour or two just talking. It was great. So tips and tricks of Winston as a grandmaster player, focusing on people that are usually gold, silver, and bronze type competitive. Like, tips and tricks for Winston. How can you climb with him, for example?
Click on the head, basically, when you're playing him. Usually that's the number one tip. But in actuality, the most important tip is to dance around your shield. So when you put your barrier down, it's like this big round bubble. And what you want to do is whoever you're fighting, when they move into the bubble, you move out. When they move out, you move in. That way, they're not going to be able to hit you, basically. And your shield can absorb like up to 600 or so damage that you might have otherwise taken.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been playing against some good Winston players that really know how to do the shield dance, and that's something I'm going to work on and improve myself. But a good shield dance is like one of the best tips as a Winston. Don't be stationary. Be very mobile and wily, and you're going to be a great Winston. So as far as like in-game settings, do you have any recommendations on like Winston specific settings to change or keybinds to change, or you play him a lot? So is there anything specific you do that helps you play better that you think would help others?
For keybinds, I don't actually really change anything. I think it's fine, but if you think maybe putting your shift key on like your up arrow key works better for you, then go for it, right? It's whatever suits you best. But for sensitivity, I personally like to play a higher Winston sensitivity because yes, you don't have to aim, so you're usually turning a lot more, being so mobile. So a higher sensitivity usually helps more. Like if you know your DPI. Around 807 would probably be good for the normal or the average player for Winston. Though I play at like 1800 DPI and 10 sensitivity, which is really high. Yeah.
Like you just like breathe and your Winston's moving like crazy. That's really sensitive. Wow.
I just poke my mouse and I just like do a 360.
No kidding. That's helpful for the shield dance for sure. Totem is suggesting. He says, I would say remove your S key, but you kind of need it for the time jumps. Yeah, for sure. That is helpful to have for the time jumps. And yeah, Nito, yeah, that's really high. So yeah, barely moving. He's flipping around. So hey, but for that character, if that's what works, and if anyone new in chat play Winston, maybe try it out. Agonius, I was sitting down, and he was getting me to fiddle with some different settings for different heroes I play, and it feels really funky at first to have different keys for things or have different sensitivities for things. But practicing with it for a bit, I already feel like I'm a better player on. Yeah, I'm not good at hit scan characters. Like, characters that require like really good aim, like Malkarii, Widowmaker. I'm trying to improve my skills on those characters, and just fiddling with the sensitivity of my mouse and in-game sensitivity, I have much better aim. So definitely look into settings. Getting better as a player is not just about hammering at it and playing the character more and more and more. Sometimes it's about also fiddling the settings and see what works best for you. Maybe the defaults are the reason why you can't figure a character out. So definitely look into that. Nita says he plays 8,000. 18,000 total. Oh my God, you guys. All right. So any more Winston tips and tricks you can think of?
I mean, I could go all day about Winston
Yes,
tips,
let's go. I
honestly.
know you have so many, and
Okay.
you have a YouTube video on specifically Winston, right?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. So you guys should definitely check it out. My favorite thing about the video is your voice because it just sounds top notch. You did such a good editing job in that video, removing all the background noise. But seriously, no, but it really is a helpful Winston video. So guys, once you're done watching this episode, definitely check out his YouTube channel. Check out his Winston video. It's so informative, and you can replay it over and over and over in case you missed any of the tips we're giving you in this episode. Watch this video. It's super helpful. All right, so let's continue. Tips and tricks, Winston. Give us.
Yeah. Okay. So even though Winston works really well with D.Va, he also works pretty well against her. So when she pops out her D.Va bomb, you hear the whole "nerf this" off in the background. That's my D.Va voice, by the way. You can actually jump over the bomb and drop your shield, and as long as the bomb is inside the shield, it won't hurt anybody outside of it. So you can kind of use this to save your supports that are maybe too slow to get behind cover and all that. It's generally worth using your bubble unless your team can easily avoid it, because
I've actually never seen a Winston do that in all my time I've played. I've never seen Winston just legit hop on top of the bomb, put down the shield, and then like hop out so he's not damaged. That is really effective. Sounds really effective. It should be used more. For sure.
It's hard to do when the bomb is flying in the air. You usually want to like predict when it's on the ground and use it, but it is actually possible to drop your shield on it midair. It's just really hard to.
Yeah.
Another tip for Winston is if you're up against armor, you should actually melee and shoot instead of just firing your gun. For example, even if it isn't in rank, like if you're doing 1v1 in arcade, right, and you're Winston versus Winston, if you and the Winston are both standing still, not using any abilities. One of you is shooting and meleeing, the other is just shooting. The one who shoots in melee will kill the other Winston first. And the reason that is because armor reduces your damage, but for lower amounts of damage, it reduces it in half. So for Winston, he does like 3 damage per ammo, which is half to like 1.5 versus melee. Anything that's above 10 damage only takes a flat reduction of 5. So a better example for this, right, is if you're dealing 8 damage, you'll deal 4 against armor. But if you're dealing 100 damage, you'll only deal 95 against armor. So you can see how the melee, it takes a bit of a less of a loss than the ammo Winston's gun.
That's super helpful, and people often don't think to use the melee because his lasers are just so fun on Winston. Dicebar, thank you so much for linking that video. Easy for you guys to quickly click on it in chat there. So check out his comment. Click on that video. It is very helpful.
Nito says in chat, other than that last scenario you just mentioned, I would say that D.Va is a counter to Winston. She can boop him away when you jump in, and she has high short-range damage. Yeah, that's actually true. They kind of counter each other in a sense, because you could also argue that the Winston counters the D.Va, because with his bubble, he can soak up micro missiles. D.Va can't matrix his Tesla cannon, that kind of thing. There's advantages and disadvantages. They're pretty in even matchup in that sense. As for other tips on Winston, if you're okay with one more.
Many more. Let's keep going.
With Primal Rage, you generally want to use it when you're low on health because it'll put you up to 1,000 health regardless of what you are at currently. But what a lot of people don't really think to use it for is to use it to get environmental kills, because if you're popping your ultimate and you get 1 or 2 kills for free because of it, that's extremely good, because Winston's ult, it's usually hard to get kills, especially on tanks. Like, you're pretty much never going to kill a tank with Primal Rage unless they're really low or it's an environmental. So if you're playing on Ilios Well, for example, or Ilios Lighthouse, you're fighting around the point, you can try and pop your ultimate and knock somebody off the edge and swing the fight in your favor. That's
very helpful information. Now, there's some more comments in chant. That's why you should have a D.Va to jump with your Winston. DMing missiles is really good. Absolutely. And then melee when you jump on somebody so that you can animation cancel, especially against armor. That is a good tip right there for sure. And yeah, like I was just saying, environmental kills. So you're using your angry monkey to throw people off cliffs is super effective. I personally have been killed that way at least once or twice. It's frustrating when that happens, but good for the Winston player.
Oh, one last thing. It's an extremely important tip. It just came to me, but let's say you're gonna jump on a soldier that's on high ground, right? Where you want to position where you land is behind him, because when you jump on the soldier, what do you think he's gonna do?
He's gonna shoot you.
Well, yeah, but let's say he's really low on health, and you could actually kill him. What do you think?
Yeah, he'll heal.
He'll heal, or he'll run away.
Yes, really fast.
What you want to do is, if you jump behind them, they have to, your body kind of blocks them, so they can't actually escape, and you can get that much more damage on a kill that you otherwise might not have gotten because they run away.
That is a good point. And then, sorry, Okayu is asking what rank are you in game, Agonius?
I'm a Grandmaster.
Grandmaster. We covered that earlier.
Specifically, right now, I'm 4,300. I'm almost to top 500 this season.
You're only 4,300? Oh, that's embarrassing.
Terrible.
That's terrible. Agonius for Overwatch League 2019, big brain Winston player. I agree with that. That is screen-worthy. So you've dabbled in competitive stuff in the past already, right?
I have. Actually, I'm wearing the badge I did for the last tournament I did back in June. I play a few not open division. I haven't done open division yet, but I do like a few small time tournaments around my country whenever I can, and usually try and prove myself there, or even if it's just for fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, it should be for fun first, and then for prove yourself second. Said nobody ever. Just was mentioning the Vancouver team is recruiting, so you should.
That's true.
They haven't announced any. I don't think I've seen them announce anything yet, and their time frame for announcing things is, I think, December 3rd is the deadline to have full rosters out. I'm not sure if they announced something and I missed it. I'm sure if Totem's in chat, he can put it. Yeah, there we go. They're only recruiting Koreans, he says.
Koreans.
I mean, Vancouver's a very multicultural city, so I'm okay with that.
Plus, I'm sure the Toronto team is better than the Vancouver team.
I mean, I will fight you. For those who don't know, he lives on the east coast of Canada. I live on the west coast, the best coast of Canada. So I'm all about Vancouver.
The west, oh man, I was gonna say never mind. Go on.
No. We're gonna battle about the coast battle.
Coast battle. We should do that. 1v1 coast battle.
1v1. Chat, choose sides. All right. Throwing down time.
Oh, if you say chat, pick a side, they're just gonna pick your side. They hate me.
Well, no, but they like to troll me though, so they all often go against me just for the sake of going against me. So it's really anybody's game at this point. Either of us can win. We have Zan saying East Side is the best side. That doesn't even rhyme. Do better, Zan. That doesn't even rhyme. With a 1v1. Oh gosh, no. Agonius is the worst. West Coast, Best Coast. There we go. I'm putting that on the screen. West Coast, Best Coast.
Oh man, you can't put that on the screen. That's cheating.
I'm putting it on the screen. All right. Are there any more Winston tips that are fresh in your mind that you think someone gold, silver, bronze would really improve from if they try doing?
Well, around that rank, actually, let's say you hear Junkrat, we're going to pull out the Malk example here. A Junkrat uses his ultimate. You hear the whole fire in the hole thing going on in the background, and you see it coming towards you. What you can do is you can pop your ultimate when it's near you and basically soak up most of the damage. Or if you're at full health, just take the tire and then pop your ultimate. That way, your support's safe. Your team doesn't die to the rip tire, and you just go and slap people around as a monkey for a bit.
That's handy. And yes, as a Junkrat player, I have tried using it on Winston, and they've done just what you have said. He doesn't have enough health where it doesn't kill him outright, and either they will let hit him, he'll pop his ult, or just pop his ult as I come in. And it's frustrating because I can't kill Winston with my tire, and I hate it so much. Dice Bars remind people in the chat that we are giving away some loot boxes. And just something I didn't mention this episode yet, but I'll tell you now, is you need to follow the BeLive Twitch channel in order to qualify. So be active in chat and follow the channel. So if you don't follow BeLive officially yet, please high five that hot follow button. They're doing great things with their platform for the Twitch community. I'm so glad they're finally on Twitch, not just Facebook. So follow BeLive. There's another Overwatch talk show happening later today on the same channel. And I think actually about an hour and a half from now. So you can stick around for that or come back later and check that one out. But the point is, follow the channel and I will give you some loot boxes if you're active in chat during the show. I'm going to keep an eye. I know who's been active, who hasn't been active. Anyways, yeah. So you really shouldn't play competitive without a mic. Oh, yes. Let's discuss that for a moment. Because also we're discussing how to be a better player at your characters, but also how to be a better person to be on the team. So do not play competitive if you're not willing to communicate with your team on a microphone. Please, God, please communicate. Why are you in competitive if you're not communicating with your team? Agonius, I'll stop ranting for a moment. You can get your rant in now.
Okay. Get ready for the next 20 minutes for this rant. No, just kidding. But
rant stream.
If you're one of those people that you're too shy to talk or whatever, you don't play main tank, because main tank, absolutely you need to shot call. When you're playing Winston in a dive comp, you need to be like, hey diva, I'm going in now, I'm going to this target, follow me, matrix me, do whatever. Or if you're playing with an Anna, hey Anna, nano boost me in this fight, that kind of thing. Or calling out the targets that you're on. I'm sure everyone in this chat has heard on your team someone calling out monkey when you're trying to focus somebody. You generally want to do that as Winston, because then people can help you out because your damage output's pretty low. But if you're one of those people that's a little too shy, at least join the voice chat and listen to what your teammates are saying, or at least say one or two things. Call something important out at the very least.
Yeah, at the very least, just be in there and hear your team and what they're saying. And yeah, it's such a huge thing. I play competitive often, and some people don't even get in voice chat. And it's the most frustrating thing ever. You don't need to talk. You don't need to make jokes or, be hilarious or anything, but just be in there and just listen so we can communicate with you. Even if you're not communicating with us, at least listen to it. That's a huge thing for competitive. Not even just competitive, even in quick play, it makes things easier. But definitely competitive. Quick play is more casual, whatever. People don't really care that much. But competitive, you're doing competitive, and it involves rankings and things. You need.
There are invisible competitive points on the line here, people.
Yes,
okay?
These invisible points matter so much. And yeah, you know what? I also want to mention this. I personally have social anxiety. Talking to people can be hard sometimes, and gaming has really helped me with that, because you're sitting in front of your computer. Generally, unless you're streaming like we are right now, you're not on a webcam. No one can see you. And generally, in a game like Overwatch, you're in quick play or competitive or whatever. You're probably not ever going to come across those people ever again. So maybe don't worry about embarrassing yourself or worrying about what you're going to say. You're never going to see them again. It's a very small chance. There's millions of players that play these games. So practice that. Work on your social skills too. Say hi to these people. Don't worry about the tone of voice you say hi in. Just try to get yourself out there. That's just some advice for me. This has helped me a lot. When I was younger, I was very shy. I would whisper my sentences. I would get in trouble in school for this because I was not outgoing. So then I got into World of Warcraft so many years ago and got into raiding, and where I had to communicate with fellow team members. And Overwatch would also be a great platform for doing that. So if you have social anxiety, if talking to people really isn't your thing, this would be so helpful to you. And yeah, you'll never see these people again, and you might gain some skills from it. And if you're playing competitive, you're communicating with your team, and you might be playing better as well. So it's win-win-win, triple win cubed. Totem says I embarrass myself all the time, so I'm used to it by now. Same, Totem, same. Do you have anything else you want to add on that, Agonius? And I went on a little rant there, but
I mean, I'll endorse you for shot calling after the stream, so don't worry.
Thank you.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that.
And actually, now that you mentioned the endorse system, I want to bring it up in my little rant about this. I think it is great that what Blizzard does in Overwatch to try to reduce the toxicity in gaming. If you try typing awful phrased words, mean things in chat, it actually bleeps out what you're saying and replaces it with a phrase like, "Oh, don't tell my mommy I'm up past my bedtime," or it'll say something nice, and it's just an auto-generated thing, so people aren't seeing your negativity or the other person's negativity or whatever. I think it's great. So they introduced something called the endorsement system. So after a match, if you really enjoyed the people you played with, the point is to, I think the options are sportsmanship, shot caller, and good teammate, and you can give them, a vote for whatever.
A good boy sticker.
Yeah, good boy, a gold star on the forehead. The only thing I don't like about the endorsement system is that you get experience for voting, because a lot of people only just do it. They don't really care. They just vote for whatever because they know they're getting experience. It's only like 50 experience. It's a small amount, but you do it enough and it adds up quite fast. I wish that the experience aspect of the endorsement system wasn't there, because it'd be great if it's just a sincere, hey, I think this person was a good shot caller or a good teammate. I want to give them a high five, a thumbs up for that. I'm going to go on my way to, press N, click on their name. They deserve that. But no, unfortunately, there's the experience aspect to it. And unfortunately, a lot of people just arbitrarily do it after every round, regardless of how good or bad their teammates were, just because they want the experience.
To play devil's advocate there, you could say that the XP thing is actually really good, because if somebody really wants that XP, let's say the Mercy on their team did extremely well, but they probably, but they always endorse every single game. So out of the 3 people they endorse, who do you think is going to be one of them?
Yeah.
The Mercy that they thought did really good. So that way, it just incentivizes it. Even if some games nothing special happens, maybe you're making like this one person on your team feel good, but 9 times out of 10, the first people you're going to endorse, if you're just going to throw out your 3 endorses every game, is going to be the people that did really well on your team, that you really appreciate, that kind of thing. So
that is true. Maybe make it where, sure, there's an experience factor, but like make it so like the person you're endorsing gets the experience and not you. You really want to give them a high five, a thumbs up. You did good. Here's my endorsement. Here's some experience. I agree, Nito. If the experience thing is removed, a lot less people will be using the system. It's true. People unfortunately do need some sort of incentive to participate in it, but I don't know. Just I know for a fact a lot of people just do it to get that easy experience, and it's not a true use of the system. So there can be an absolute just total toxic player that has so many endorsements, because you see the little circle beside their name when you join a group with someone, what their endorsement rankings are or whatever, and they can be an absolute like toxic, awful person, awful player, and they can have really high endorsement rank just because they happen to play a lot of Overwatch, a lot of hours into it, so they've got all these free endorsements just because people want the experience, and then you go into it blind thinking, oh, they must be like really awesome person, look all these endorsements they got. Oh no, they're actually a bag of dicks. Another question. What do you think about Blizzard banning people rather than banning the thrower / hacker / troll?
Okay, I actually have some thoughts on this. Yeah. Am I allowed to name names, or should I be completely anonymous about like a specific situation?
Name names. It's okay.
Okay.
We're not getting into drama, and we're not like gossiping.
No drama. Only smiles. Only smiles.
Smiles and facts.
Only smiles. Yes. So there's this Overwatch streamer, and he plays Winston as well. And his name is XQCow. Now XQCow, he was banned recently for I think 28 days because he was being toxic to his teammates during the games. And the reason he was being that, from what I understand, is a lot of his teammates were intentionally throwing games just to get a rise out of him, or we're picking like Torbjorn or Symmetra or something, and like leaving the voice chat, that kind of thing. So it's kind of unfair, because I'm sure Blizzard to an extent sees that all that's happening. But they keep defending this philosophy of, you should be able to play whatever hero you want in the game. But by definition, by griefing, you're like making an active decision to put your team at a disadvantage. And when you like insta-lock Torbjorn, leave the voice channel, just do that for the entire game, you're losing. That's kind of griefing. And I think Blizzard should probably take a bit more action towards that.
Yeah, and like with the two griefers, like you have these people, like this person's already upset, and so you're gonna further grief them to make them more upset at some point. Like you should get a wrist smack as well, not just the person that's getting upset. It's hard to say. Like, I don't think they should be like banned per se, but something like some like lockout of the game for like I don't know, like that day. I guess that's called a suspension or whatever. But
Yeah,
something.
even an hour suspension would be okay
Yeah,
too.
like when you're blatantly and it's obvious by what you're saying in chat and the characters you're choosing and purposely do what you can to antagonize someone that's already upset, you're also part of the problem. That's a very toxic situation, not just for that one person that's angry, but also for you for encouraging it and making it worse. So yeah, but I mean, on Blizzard's defense, it really is hard to like determine, oh, was this person actually griefing, or were they just maybe they only know how to play Symmetra and that's why they stayed with Symmetra. That's the only character they're comfortable with. So it needs to be like I don't know, it'd be hard to find an exact math of okay to determine were these people griefing. Yeah, it's difficult. It's tough. It's hard for companies, Blizzard, to really keep an eye on that, unfortunately. So
It definitely is. It's kind of like a flaw with Overwatch as like a concept. I'm not sure there's really a good fix they could ever implement, but I feel like at least, like somebody could literally go on the top Overwatch streamer, throw their game, and then be like, "Hello, streamer, I'm throwing smile emoji," and Blizzard wouldn't do anything about it. Even if it's
like
super
super, when it's like blatantly obvious like that, I absolutely agree that something should be done for that griefer. Yeah. And then actually with griefing in bronze ranking, we've all been there at one point in time, maybe not necessarily, but you know what I'm trying to say. A lot of people grief in those levels of competitive play, and that's why they're stuck in bronze, because they're griefers. And yes, like they typically won't climb the ladders because they're just not there to play competitive. They're just there to give other people who play competitive a hard time. But it also makes those other people that are actually trying have a more difficult time climbing out of that rank, climbing out of bronze, silver, gold, because other people are being asshats. So it's difficult. It's tough to do that climb unless you're a really skilled player or you have someone that's very skilled, like friend of yours, queuing with you to help pull you out of there. Unfortunately, there's a lot of griefing in competitive play, and I would love to see it be reduced somehow. It's just a difficult thing to implement to do. So people just need to stop being butts.
they just need to smile.
They just need to smile and realize you're playing a game. Don't be toxic. And people need to remember online, if someone's on your team is just being rude, saying, hey, like they'll say they auto lock Hanzo and they're like, hey, we need a healer. One of you guys switch to a healer. Just start to respond in a negative way. Realize, you know what? Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they're just trying to troll. Let's not give into it. Switch to a healer and just like do the best you can.
Swallow your pride. Yeah.
Just swallow the pride and make it work as best you can instead of getting mad.
I actually have two really good tips for playing ranked. One is for bronze specifically. Bronze, I would describe, like I've played it a bit, just to see what it was like. And yeah, it's a pitfall. It's like literally quicksand that you're in, right? When it comes to getting out of bronze. Mm-hmm. And what you should do to get out of bronze is play. I'm a little biased with this, but play a tank and just continually play that tank. Get really good at it. Roadhog even. Roadhog is probably the perfect tank to play in bronze because you can carry games. You really can, and that's what you're going to have to do to get out of bronze. You're going to have to get to like maybe a high silver level, and then just kind of carry your teammates on your back and get out of there. Because, like you said, there's going to be a lot of throwers. There's going to be a lot of people who just don't care about the game, and it's going to be almost impossible to get out there unless you're already a very skilled player. And for my second tip is for ranked in general, how I climb personally is I don't one trick. I stick to one role and a few different pool of heroes to fit like every situation. Like for example, in GM right now, I basically play Ryan, Orisa, or Winston. And the reason I do that is because if I can just focus and become really good with those heroes, I'll get a lot more consistent games, and I'll have that map pool to be able to switch between. But if I'm practicing something like Soldier, Zenyatta, and Winston, they all have completely different styles of gameplay, which usually will be more obstructive than helpful if you vary yourself too much.
Yeah, that's an excellent tip for sure. Now, we are drawing near the end of the show, so I want to start doing the wrap-up. Let's see here. So unless there's like a final point you want to mention, I don't want to drag this on too much longer.
I guess one more thing for rank too is that
Mhm.
a lot of people usually they'll be like, "Oh, I have this teammate. They're dragging me down. You know, I'm stuck in plat. I'm stuck in diamond. I'm stuck in gold. Whatever, right?" And the thing I see the most is it's usually I'm not climbing because of this other person. And all that, although that may be true, my best advice is don't worry about how other people play because you can't change them. You can only do as well as you can for your team. If you have like a Torbjorn one trick on your team, you can't make him change, you know, if he doesn't want to. So you should just focus on your own gameplay, improve as much as you can, and you know, because even if you do lose, you can at least be that much better going into your next game.
Absolutely, that's such good advice, and that's something that I myself have had issues with when I first got into competitive. I don't do that now. I do what more of I can't control them. I'll just try to focus on my own gameplay. But it's hard when you first get into competitive and people are doing that. You're like, oh, I'm great. I know I'm great. It's just all these other people, they suck, and that's why I can't get out. Well, put that mindset off the side for a moment and just realize you can't control them. You can't change them. You can only improve yourself. So focus on that instead. Positive mental attitude.
Miles in the chat.
Smiles in the chat. And just a reminder, guys, when you join a game, not just Overwatch, or any online game with other people, just say hi to people. Say hello. Wish everyone a good match. Wish everyone good luck. Say have fun. You've set that tone. Right at the beginning of the match, everyone will be in a better mood from the get-go. So that's the most simple, easiest thing you can do. Don't need to verbally say it. Just type it out even. Just have those good vibes right from the get-go. And it has changed a lot of matches for me along the way just by being nice. So on that note, Agonius and I have planned to, after this stream, to play some Overwatch. So if you are interested in getting some one-on-one coaching, well, not exactly one-on-one because I'll be there and other people will be there, but pretty limited group size coaching from Agonius. You have further questions for him, you want to hop in voice chat with us, play some Overwatch with us, I encourage you guys to do so. We'll be ending this stream and I'll be hopping over on my channel. And if someone can link that in chat for me, that would be great. My name is Malkarii, twitch.tv/Malkarii. We'll be playing some Overwatch with Agonius on my channel for a little bit. And I would love for you guys to have the opportunity to chat with Agonius yourself, asking me other questions you have that you couldn't think of or didn't want to ask during this live stream. And yeah, time to do the Lube Box Giveaway. So I have been paying attention to chat, and there's one person that has been really chatty the entire time, has had some good questions, has had some good input, and so this week's loot boxes are going to go to, let's do like a drum on my desk. It's probably going to sound terrible, but I'm doing it anyways. So Nito, with all those sevens after their name, is going to win some loot boxes. So send me a message, probably on Twitter. My Twitter name is @Malkarii with an underscore because someone stole my actual name. Message me on the Twitter, and I'll get those loot boxes too. Yeah, 27s, 20 of them. Oh, and now it's a cat stream.
She just keeps climbing up here.
Full screen Agonius. It's all you and the cat. Go. She's
Famous Slippers. She's a very good cat.
Such a good cat. Such a good slippers. Anyways, yeah, congrats on the loot boxes, So just toss me a message, and I will get those to you. Navi is not in here. I'm sorry, Zan. She's not hanging out today, and I'm not really in the mood to go get her. So maybe at one of these streams I do, she will be hanging out. Maybe for the stream after this, I'll go grab her, and I will put her up on the side of the table that she likes being on, and she'll hang out. So anyways, on that note, guys, that's the end of this episode. We went a little bit longer than possible, than planned, but we just started a little bit late. So thank you so much for joining us, for all your insight and input. Hopefully people in chat watching the stream have learned a thing or two about Winston play and how to play better, and feel encouraged to maybe try him out if he's a character that they haven't really tried out before. And I'm looking forward to hopping into Overwatch with you, and maybe I'll play some Winston and ask you all the questions of how to do better.
I'd like to see that. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been fun. Maybe I'll have you back on for one of the other characters that you're super skilled on as well, you talented fellow you. On that note, let me try to, and I'll find out a better way eventually how to do this. Stop that. Do the ending video. So, clicking all the things that I shouldn't be clicking. Dexbro, hop on and play Junkrat. That's fine. that just forces me to play Winston because you take the character that I auto lock every time. Just kidding. Also, I play other characters, I swear. All right. So on that note, guys, we're ending today's episode 2 of On the Point. I appreciate you being here. Congrats to Nito for the loot boxes again. Be sure you guys are following the BeLive Twitch channel. And if you have time and you want to play with us in Overwatch, hop over to my channel, Malkarii. And in about 5-10 minutes, I'll have that live, and we'll be playing Overwatch with Agonius, the Grandmaster Winston player, and Slippers. Slippers will also be playing. Maybe Slippers will be playing, and Agonius will just be sitting there coaching Slippers.
She's really the one who's a Grandmaster player. I'm just a friend.
You're just a front. All right. So on that note, guys, be excellent to each other, and above all else, always remember to get on the point.